Hi everyone, Paul Summers from paulsummersphotography.com, and yep, this is something new, but it's something that I've wanted to do because in the last month or two there has been so much happening in the photography space, particularly around Mac and the iOS platform, and by iOS I mean iPad and iPhone, that it's only going to get better. And I just wanted to ensure that you guys were all up to speed. And also I've had a couple of questions of late that I just thought I'd clarify. But the really big news that we're going to cover today is the fact that Lightroom Mobile has become usable. There has been an update pushed mid-July 2017, and they've done away with that funky interface that was so annoying, and they've added the adjustment brush to the various selective edits. So it makes Lightroom Mobile very, very usable again. Well, not so much again, because I was so frustrated that I never used it. I never bothered. I just went straight to Snapseed because you could get a result. But I'm going to show you that in a minute. But before I do, there's a couple of misconceptions that I just wanted to clear up. First misconception is that the iPhone and iOS system, the iPhone and iPad, only support DNG files in RAW format. They do not. There was big news about RAW being supported, and that the iPhone 7 could now take photos in RAW DNG format. And I think a lot of people assumed that, oh, okay, well, you know, I haven't got one of the other camera manufacturers that actually record the photo in DNG format, so I'm out of luck. No. Nikon, Canon, Sony, whatever. It's pretty much in sync with the RAW editing on Macintosh because it's at system level. So you can plug your card straight into your iPad or your iPhone and do your editing on that. Now, the second part of this is that people have said, well, how can I plug an SD card into my iPad? And the answer is you use this little dongle. It's an SD card reader that plugs into your Lightning port, and on this end you plug your SD card in, and photos will just know it's there, come up. You can import the whole card, you can import selective items, whatever. It's about $35 from the Apple Store, either an Apple Store or online. But if you've got a compact flash card in your camera, this is not going to help. What you need to do is buy a Lightning to USB connector, and they're about the same price from the Apple Store again. And in the USB connector you plug your card reader and then your compact flash card, and again it gets sucked into your iPad or iPhone, whatever you're using. So RAW support across the board for a lot of the cameras that are supported in Mac OS X, if not all the cameras. I don't know what the release schedule is. On to Lightroom Mobile. Now, because I'm going to be looking down at my iPad, I'm going to disappear for a moment. So while I do the demo, bye-bye. And you can see that Lightroom Mobile now has a desktop interface instead of the funky little sliders and everything it had. take it back to where it should be, um, and yeah, you've got your exposure controls, you've got your color controls, you've got your effects like clarity and dehaze, not really effects, but whatever. And you've got sharpening and noise reduction. That's a big one. That's and you can enable lens correction. It's got the Lightroom lens correction database in it, so that's also a winner. Across the top, you've got your presets, and the Lightroom presets that come with Lightroom Mobile aren't that imaginative. You've got color, you've got black and white, so you've got clarity and noise reduction and some effects and camera and all that sort of thing. It still doesn't let you bring in your presets from the desktop. I'm sure they're working on it, and I'm sure that what they're trying to do is work out a way to get your desktop presets that you've spent so much time either buying or creating, and how to transfer them into the iPad. So hopefully very soon. We also have our crop and rotate button, so we can do all sorts of fun stuff with that. And this is the big one, the selective edits. And for the longest time, we've had the gradient editor, and that's been handy. And we've had the radial, and it's also been handy. Down the bottom here, we've got the reset, and you can reset your selective edits. You can reset everything on the photo you've done, pretty much the same as Lightroom Desktop. But again, the star of the show is the adjustment brush, and this is a game changer for Lightroom Mobile, because if you wanted to dodge and burn before, you had to use a whole lot of little radiant masks, very painful, and you could do limited dodging and burning, but it was messy and that sort of thing. This it changes the game. It makes Lightroom Mobile very usable. The interface does work a little differently to desktop, in that once I choose the adjustment brush, I can adjust the exposure, and you can see that while I'm moving the slider, the whole photo gets adjusted. But once I let go, it snaps back. So that's to give me a better idea of exactly what the patch I'm going to be working on is going to look like. And then it's just a matter of just doing a bit of brushing. Of course, you've got your undo there, and you can step back, so we can do all that. But this makes it all worthwhile. And if you haven't selected a setting over here on the right hand side, it will give you a mask, and it says, well, okay, you want to dodge or burn all of Humphrey McCamelface's photo, but as soon as you slide it, you can make the adjustment. So there's really two ways you can work there. As I say, fantastic. You've got your settings here where you can show your overlays and various things. You can duplicate a brush, remove a brush, and you've got your share menu when you're actually done with the photo. Then it'll light up, and you can share it to the camera roll. You can share it to all the usual suspects: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. So that's that. The big news is that if you have an iPad Pro and an Apple Pencil, it's pressure sensitive. The harder you push, the more adjustment it applies. Now, if you don't have an iPad Pro, but you have an iPhone with 3D Touch, it's pressure sensitive on that too. So it's a real winner, and it's something that I think people are going to start using now. I'm glad Adobe's finally listened to the public because the offerings have been pretty lackluster from Adobe in the mobile space. Sorry, Adobe, but honestly, really. So hopefully they'll apply some of what they've learnt on this to Photoshop on the iPads and get rid of the silly idea that you've got 3 or 4 different applications to do different things you've got to swap between. That's all for me. I'll be back doing some more videos. In the meantime, you can check me out on the web, paulsummersphotography.com. You can follow me on Facebook at Paul Summers Photography. And that's it for now. See you all later. Bye.